Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. With this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 12 of the anime series Blade and Soul, and talk about one hell of an epic culmination in the story and the action going on between Ataka, Hazuki, Luana Don, Karenel, and Veryl Jin, respectively. The lifeless, impurity-filled body that has reclaimed itself as Veryl Jin is just, the sort of pinnacle of this throwdown. And I really loved, much as my hopes and desires, as I voiced in the previous episode discussion, essentially we see Ataka kind of stunted and not sure how to react to Veryl Jin's attacks. She's only very much focused on Ataka, but in the midst of all of this, we see Karen, Luana, and even Hazuki putting themselves into the fray, trying to get some of the heat off of Ataka. We see Hazuki, shooting Veryl Jin seemingly to death, and she's all boasting about it, but of course those bullets end up coming back out again, a la the Matrix or the T-1000 Terminator from Terminator 2, and we just see that Veryl Jin is an unstoppable force. Even when Luana and Karen are just nunchucking the hell out of her, using all this kung fu and this crazy kicking and stuff like that, there is no stopping Veryl Jin. The only force that can stop her at this point is Ataka, and I think it's absolutely fascinating that per a flashback just previous to Veryl Jin's coming and seeking them out, we see that Yuran is about to destroy the vessel that is Veryl Jin, calling her a puppet. She hints to, some sort of greater forces being at work that put them into action in the first place. And I love the loyalty, even though he's an evil character, I love the loyalty we see in Gigante, that he grabs Yuran and basically lets Veryl Jin use this power to destroy them both in the hopes that he has now eliminated Yuran altogether. Of course, we see to the otherwise toward the end of the episode, but more on that in a moment. But essentially, as this battle, continues, Ataka finds the courage she needs. She understands, flashing back on all the lives that have been lost, taken whether at her own hands, through this duty-bound thing that she had through the Clan of the Sword, or through Veryl Jin's hands, sort of collateral damage on the sidelines of their ongoing battle. And finally, she steps up. First, she's very much on the defensive with Veryl Jin attacking offensively. But then, of course, we see there's a shift, and I love that Luana points this out. Ataka basically goes from being very defensive in this battle to offensive. She chases Veryl Jin up to the top of this mountain where they're really going to be bringing each other to their ends. This is where they're going to meet their ends. And this is where the power of that butterfly mark on her arm, whatever it is, whatever, that power is utilized from, created from, it starts glowing this rich, crisp, white blue and just envelops the entire mountaintop. It's reflected off the clouds above them. The girls down below, Hazuki, Luana, and Karen, respectively, are all kind of wowed and wondering what's going on. And this is where we see Ataka about to finally, seemingly, fulfill whatever desire or need she must fulfill. But at the very last second, very much as I have surmised, going all the way back to one of the very first flashbacks of Master Han, he wanted Ataka to renounce the sword. He wanted her to stop taking lives and become human, become a living vessel. And so at that last second, she's about to slice off Veryl Jin's head, and just a millimeter away from her neck, she stops. And she says, now you are like me. You've become like me. We've been alike all this time. We've been soulless, searching vessels, and now we have humility. Now we have life. Now we have understanding. And so, in a sense, Ataka has now left Veryl Jin much the same way Karen left Ataka just episodes back, understanding all of this. And we see Veryl Jin very reasonably screaming bloody murder, because now all of the things that she has done have come crashing down on her psyche. All of those transgressions, all of those murders, and all the evil she's reaped is now, in her awareness. And so we pretty much end with everyone going back to town. Everyone is talking about, well, we'll let Ataka just live her life. Maybe we'll see her again someday. Maybe we won't. And we're really wondering what is going to happen next. But Ataka, as we see, has gone and visited all these graves of people whose lives were taken in the course of this series and put flowers on them. We see that Hazuki has now decided to focus on finding people with these heaven spirit flowers, and she's making money, and we see butterflies passing them all as if to give them, one last smile from the sky skies above, from perhaps even Audica herself in an extension sort of form. And I love the very intriguing twists toward the end of the episode. Of course, we see first that Audica has encountered Londa Wander once again, very destitute, very like beaten up looking, and she hands him a couple coins, and he thanks her, and he's like, "What are you going to do now?" She's like, "Live," that kind of thing. And he's like, "Oh no, not that." Very comedic. But of course, the very gripping part comes toward the end of this episode, where we see that essentially Euron, though we thought her destroyed by Gigante and Veryl Jin at the same time, she sort of, erupts as a flame out from this vase or whatever in the hallway of this building, where this commander of hers, or leader or master or whatever he is, we've never actually seen him. He's always got this sort of blind drawn in front of him, and he's always petting a cat on his lap. And she basically is reporting the fact that, Audica has gotten away. She's become human. She is now transformed into something else. That, Veryl Jin has kind of failed. They don't really need her anymore. They can create more, whatever that means. And it's still unclear as to what the purpose is with these characters, if they align themselves to the Param Empire, or perhaps something else entirely. Maybe this is an opposing clan force, something like that, not even related to the government that is the Param Empire. So it's very interesting. Of course, we leave off with the preview suggesting there's another episode called God, and I can only begin to imagine where we could possibly go from here, with the story being almost entirely wrapped up. But I am on the edge of my seat. I have been loving every step of this series. I love all the characters in it. I love the culmination of this episode, bringing a large chunk of the main characters together as a force to be reckoned with, helping each other even, amidst their differences. So otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.